Calaroga Shark Media.
Busy one for a Monday. I am Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. What I had is my lead story. I had to knock down to number 4. So much stuff came in. Did you see Thursday Night Football's post game? You probably didn't because it was Jets-Patriots. Jets won 24-3 thanks to Aaron Rodgers. Well, in the post game show, Nikki Glaser showed up. Someone thought this was a good idea. I guess they saw the roast of Tom Brady. Now, my comments here, and I share this in the Facebook group, which is Daily Comedy News Podcast Group. If you think room doesn't matter, if you think audience doesn't matter, well, listen to this. The joke Nikki tells here about somebody hugging is Aaron Rodgers hugging the Jets coach. But listen to Nikki Glaser bomb.
But the action wasn't all taking place on the field tonight. Some of it took place on the sidelines. Which brings me to my play of the game, which was this moment. Look at that. Why is Aaron doing that? Is that one of his closest family members? I mean, I don't know what's going on here. Oh, I think I know. I think Salah just reminded him that RFK Jr. dropped out of the race. And I mean, look at this face. Oh boy, I know that look. That's how men look at me when I ask, so what are we? I don't have to get boosted. I care about us. But let's face it, this was a beatdown. I haven't seen a group of Patriots take an L this bad since January 6th. I mean, thank God Belichick wasn't there to see this. He was too busy watching Blippi with his girlfriend. She's 24. You know, the Jets may have scored more points, but in the end, it was the Patriots who really won because they got to leave New Jersey. Thank you.
Yeah, somebody thought it'd be a great idea to have Nikki Glaser be on the postgame show with Carissa Thompson, Andrew Whitworth, Tony Gonzalez, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Richard Sherman. Now, she was a guest, and I don't think she's coming back after this one. The segment was called Late Hits with Nikki Glaser. She made fun of her crew. I will concede that Nikki probably told these jokes better than I did, but you know what? Having seen the clip, I'm not so sure. About Thompson, she said, I just have to say it's so nice to finally meet the photo I show my plastic surgeon, but seriously, you're pretty intimidating. You look like the final boss at a country club. Turned to Richard Sherman and said, I'm definitely not going to say that Richard Sherman looks like Busta Rhymes on Ozempic. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say that Andrew Whitworth looks like Men's Warehouse Shrek. The next two got a little better. Tony Gonzalez looks like who my mom thinks about during one of her long baths. Tony, I like your vibe, though. You look like a genie that can only summon by rubbing the crotch of a sensible Talbot pantsuit. And the best one for last, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm so honored to be here tonight with all these NFL legends and Ryan Fitzpatrick, or as your teammates call you, Sack Galifianakis. That's pretty good. Glaser then went into her analysis of the game. At the end of the segment, she revealed that fans would see her more times, perhaps 4 more times. Some are wondering if she'll be on Week 4. Thursday Night Football returns to New York. The Dallas Cowboys face the New York Giants. Hey, that's a pretty good game. Dave Chappelle remains Netflix's top draw. I thought he was canceled. I thought we were getting rid of Dave. Nope. Dave Chappelle the Dreamer cracked the top 50 programs watched between January and June 2024 with 17.4 million views. That's despite the fact the special was actually released on December 31st. Yeah, I watched it New Year's Eve. Chappelle had the biggest stand-up special, but was beaten by the Roast of Tom Brady, which got 22.4 million views, putting it number 26 on the list. Cat Williams got 10.3 million views. He didn't get one from me because I had to go to Cleveland for Deacon Mike. I'm a good friend, Deacon Mike. I did watch it the next day. That put it number 136 on the list. Kevin Hart's Mark Twain Prize for American Humor, only 7.1 million views. Shane Gillis' Beautiful Dogs, 6.1 million views. Beating out Mike Epps' Ready to Sell Out, which got 5.9 million. Ricky Gervais' Armageddon got another 5.4 million views, although that was released Christmas Day of 2023. Joe Coy, he once hosted the Golden Globes. You ever hear that story? He made a joke about Taylor Swift. Here, let's listen to it.
As you know, we came on after a football doubleheader. The big difference between the Golden Globes and the NFL, on the Golden Globes, we have fewer camera shots of Taylor Swift.
Joe Coy got 5 million views for his Live from Brooklyn special, despite it only having launched in June. So this was a small window for Joe Coy. Maybe he'll move up the list. Maybe he's super popular. I think he should host the Golden Globes every year. He beat out Taylor Tomlinson's Have It All with 4.9 million. Some big names did not crack the top 500 of Netflix's engagement report. Some of the names include Pete Davidson's Turbo Fonzarelli, which was terrible, Neil Brennan's Crazy Good, and Jimmy Carr's Natural Born Killer. That's a shame. Eventually, we will get data on Matt Rife's Lucid, a crowd work special that wasn't released until August. Adam Sandler, Ellen, which is out tomorrow, the Tim Dillon thing that I didn't tell you about yet. Give me a minute here, guys. Ali Wong, she's coming out on October 8th, and Hassan Minhaj. Very interesting. Meanwhile, John Mulaney was in San Francisco. This must have been a corporate gig for Dreamforce. John must have been paid to do this one, and he said, let me get this straight. You're hosting a Future of AI event in a city that has failed humanity so miserably? He started making fun of the audience, saying, you look like a group who looked at the self-checkout counters at CVS and thought, this is the future. If AI is truly smarter than us and tells us that humans should die, then I think we should die. So many of you feel immensely replaceable. Can AI sit there in a fleece vest? Can AI not go to events and spend all day at a bar? All right, have you been counting? I said what was number 1 story got bounced at number 4. Here it is. Lorne Michaels ain't retiring. He's sticking. Do you like Saturday Night Live? Well, good, because we're going to talk about it every single day for the next 9 months. Did you hear Saturday Night Live is turning 50? Did you know that? Did you know SNL is back this week? Yeah. All right, the first piece of news, SNL usually does 3 weeks and then takes a break. This year, it's going with 4 episodes in a row, beginning with its season premiere on Saturday. It'll take a 1-week break on October 26th before returning for a 3-week run on November 2nd, just 3 days before the election. They've announced the hosts of the first 5 episodes. Well, who are they, Johnny Mac? Well, this week, Gene Smart with musical guest Jelly Roll. Pretty good. Gene Smart just won an Emmy. Who doesn't like Gene Smart? Nate Bargatze, who crushed in his first appearance. He's back on October 5th. Coldplay is your musical guest. Not too shabby. Then Ariana Grande will be the host. Stevie Nicks, the musician. That's October 12th. Michael Keaton and Billie Eilish on October 19th. And John Mulaney, November 2nd, with Chappelle Rowan as the musical guest. And then on November 9th, if Trump wins, we'll have a completely depressed SNL cast like we had after Trump beat Hillary that time. But that was such an episode. Remember that one? Yeah. Coldplay have appeared 8 times. That's too many. They're not that good. Stevie Nicks is back for her 2nd time. Michael Keaton for his 4th time. Billie Eilish for her 4th time. How's that possible? John Mulaney hosting for the 6th time. The Hollywood Reporter did a big wax job article with Michael Che, Colin Jost, and Lorne Michaels. They asked Michael Che, this being the 50th season, does that come with? Che jumped in and said, a financial bonus? No, it doesn't. Colin said, yeah, so if you know any agents looking for clients, that's a good line. Is there added pressure, guys? Che said, I bet there's some level of that for Lorne and the producers. For us, we're just trying to find the fastball funny thing. That's what keeps you up at night. I try not to think about it in the macro. In season 51, we can look back at 50 and say what was special about it, but it's impossible to determine what's going to be special. You can't plan for a perfect moment. Jost, yeah, there could be something that happens between now and the 50th. Hopefully something happens. Che, like, what was it, 5 summers ago when they shot Trump at a rally? Jost, what did you do with the gun? Joe said, I had to do a show that night at this event where there were a bunch of comedians and everyone was like, you still going to do a show? It was like 2 hours after it happened. It's such a charged thing. And you don't want to go in it and be disrespectful, but then people are expecting something on it and they're sort of disappointed if you don't deliver. So what did you do, Joe? Joe said, I don't think I really talked about it. Maybe I mentioned it, but I got away from it quickly because I didn't feel comfortable joking about it yet. Lorne Michaels speaks. Lorne says, I think there's 2 things happening at the same time at SNL. An election, and I'm tired of everybody telling us that it's the most consequential one in history because there have been a lot of big elections, and the 50th anniversary. And I want to celebrate the season with people coming back who've been part of the show and who love the show, not so much as hosts, but just making appearances. And so the election is a chance for that because it's 5 or 6 shows. So Maya and some others coming back for the election will be fun for everybody. Pay attention to that, and I'll comment on that in a minute. And at the same time, there will be new people emerging, a different generation. Joe says, the weird thing now is as soon as there's news like Kamail is running, America just starts debating who's going to play them on SNL. Before we've even had a conversation about it, there's a list of 10 people who should play Tim Walz. The Hollywood Reporter said, I suspect having non-cast members come in to play politicians doesn't always sit well with the actual cast. Am I right? Joe said, if you're someone in the cast who's like, I have a better impression than that person coming in, it's probably frustrating, but it's the sort of reality of the show. All right, here is the big question here that I alluded to before and told you to pay attention. Will James Austin Johnson continue playing Trump, or do you welcome Alec Baldwin back? Lorne Michaels, pay attention to this answer. I think James will be there, but I don't want to get into what I'm doing. That sucks. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Steve Martin said you'd reach out to him about playing Tim Walz, and as he told the LA Times, I wanted to say no, and by the way, Lorne wanted me to say no. Is that last part true? Lorne said, yeah, Steve and I have been very good friends for longer than you've been alive, and it's not the thing he does. But there's lots of things he does that you'll be seeing. I'll pick more of this article later in the week because I see I'm scrolling down here as I talk. 9 more screens worth. So let's move on to something else. We have 9 months to talk about SNL, and boy, the first half is long already. Yeah, let's save the 9 screens worth of Lorne Michaels stuff. Tim Dillon has revealed the title of his new talk show special, This Is Your Country. It'll be out October 1st. In Tim Dillon, This Is Your Country, the Tim Dillon Show comic chats with everyday Americans about cryptocurrency, OnlyFans, and other outrageous issues. It's kind of Tim Dillon doing Jerry Springer, or if you're old and from New York City, remember the old Morton Downey show? It kind of seems like he's going for that. I pulled the trailer. It's just not going to work for purposes of this podcast. I like Tim Dillon a lot. I don't think this thing is for me, but I was chatting with a friend, and we both think this thing could hit. My taste is not everyone's taste. I think America's taste might really dig this special. My sense is they don't know what to do with Tim Dillon. Very funny, but nobody's figured out what to do with him yet. Ellie King put out a new single, High Road, so she got a bunch of press. As part of the press, she spoke to People about her father, Rob Schneider, and said, I never in a million years thought it was going to go viral. I was just speaking about my childhood and about my truth. I wasn't trying to hurt him. A lot of people said, how could she say that about her family, and everything needs to be behind closed doors? And no, it doesn't. Sometimes you just have to say things and get them off your chest so that you don't have to carry it around the rest of your life. But ultimately, I think an apology on Tucker Carlson is like a double negative, right? Means nothing. When Schneider was on Tucker Carlson, he said, I just want to tell my daughter, Ellie, I love you, and I wish I was the father in my 20s that you needed. Clearly, I wasn't. I hope you can forgive me for my shortcomings. I love you completely, and I love you entirely. During the Olympics, Rob went on Twitter and slammed the opening ceremony. King took issue with his comments and said that she disagrees with a lot of what Rob Schneider says, adding, you're talking out of your butt, and you're talking crap about drag, and anti-gay rights, and it's like, get effed. She doesn't regret speaking out because the best thing that came from that is my incredible LGBTQ plus community knows that they have an ally in me. From the Cap City News, Jay Leno was recently welcomed by Union Pacific to check out the compartments of Big Boy number 4014. That's a locomotive. It's currently chugging around the country for its Heartland of America tour. Jay climbed aboard Big Boy number 4014 during a stop in Council Bluffs, Illinois. Jay will be showing off Big Boy in an upcoming episode of his web show online, Jay Leno's Garage. That episode is scheduled to be out today. Big Boy number 4014 has been located in Cheyenne since 2013 and is the only surviving Big Boy engine to be in operational condition. The engine was originally delivered to Union Pacific in 1941 and was retired in 1961. Former comedian Kamail Nanjiani. I mean, does he still do any stand-up? I think he's an actor now, right? Well, whatever. Kamail Nanjiani and Emily Gordon have launched Wintercoat Films, which has signed a first-look deal with Sony Pictures to produce a scripted series for streaming and cable platforms. One of the suits at Sony said Kamail and Emily are a dream team, artists who bring humanity, humor, and authenticity to everything they explore. Nanjiani said, we are thrilled to call Sony our creative home as we launch Wintercoat Films. Oh, and look here, I should have read ahead. He's embarking on a new stand-up tour, so he is a comedian. Take that back, Johnny Mac. That was jerky when you called him a former comedian. I hate you, and I hate your podcast, and I'm never listening again. All right, relax. I messed up. I mean, I could edit it. Relax. That's your comedy news for today. If you enjoy the show, tell a friend about it. They might like it too, unless they're a big Kamail Nanjiani comedy fan, in which case, they are not going to like me. If you would like this program without commercials, there's a link in the show notes that'll tell you what to do. If you understand what podcasting 2.0 is and you want to stream some sats my way, you could do that. It's enabled. Nudge, nudge. Know what I mean? All right. I don't know why I did the nudge, nudge. I'm leaving. Bye.